Okay, well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the presentation this evening about customized learning. What you're going to learn about is Welnet, which is a physical education program that we have adopted that's been in the district for several years now, which gives us from K through 12 data that the students are able to analyze. So with us this evening, Mrs. Kristen McKenna from Shrewsbury Elementary representing. Tyler Bowman is our student that will be speaking about his experiences. Darla Pennywell from Southern Middle School. Darla will not be doing any dances tonight. Why, Darla?
I'm in a boot.
She's in a boot. Savannah Leslie is from the middle school. She'll be speaking about her experiences with Welnet. And then Mr. Brett Maxwell from Susquehanna High School. He also works at the middle school. But Brett, the great thing about him is he has been an integral part of bringing this Welnet program to Sumner County School District. Right? Yeah, we're ready. So what is Welnet? Well, Welnet, a little bit about it is we adopted it back in 2013. It just happened to be about the same time Mr. Maxwell came on board to our district. But with all of the state testing that you hear about that Dr. Bryson just mentioned regarding the PSSAs and the tests, etc., in health and physical education, more so physical education, how can those students know what type of growth they have made? So with this program, it provided a tool for gathering data, but more so the data of what each of the students were doing each and every time, and through 3 sets of tests. So we'll focus on flexibility, which I am not a flexible person, so I want to demonstrate that. Muscular strength, I think I'm good there. Endurance, cardiovascular endurance, as well as body composition. But what they have are different fitness components, activities that these students participate in throughout the year that gives them the opportunity to show growth. Thank you, Brett. One of the big components is checking on the understanding of their fitness and health concepts. So not only are they in physical education class, participating in those activities, but in the health class, there's that follow-up, there's that instructional component that goes with it. Students are able to track their performance, track what they do each and every time that they participate in some of the tests, and our 2 students are going to talk about those in a little bit. More importantly, setting goals. I think everybody in this room has set a goal at one time or another, and this is something that our students are able to set goals, and as they're performing each and every time, they're able to come up with, did I reach that goal? If they didn't, what do they have to do to adjust within their training, within the fitness activities, in order to help there. Improvement instruction, the days of rolling out the balls, which you may have heard about, back in the phys ed years ago, is no longer. Fitness is a component that our teachers have really focused on with our students. We have to teach our students lifetime fitness, how to get involved and stay active, not only in their current lives. During the presentation, the one that said thanking the school board, you saw Mallory Lebo up there thanking for her opportunity to participate in extracurricular athletics. But it's not just participating on an athletic team, it's what else you can do to stay active and stay fit throughout your entire life. But more importantly, increasing their student awareness of what is out there, what are some things that you can do to increase your flexibility, your muscular endurance, your muscular strength, etc. So what we're going to do now is Kristen's going to talk about the elementary component and impact, and then we'll go on through there. Thank you.
Thank you, Len. Okay, good evening. As you can see, we have lots of bullets at the elementary level, but our main goal at the elementary level is to teach our students that being physically active is an important part of their overall health and wellness. We introduce the 5 for Life concepts. My students know what test matches flexibility. When we talk about the PACER test, the running test, they know that improves their cardiorespiratory endurance. And fitness is basically integrated into every PE lesson. They can identify that physical activity and participation in sport helps them. Students learn that physical activity helps them to grow and develop properly. They can recognize motor skills like running and jumping and playing tag, and that general sports skills help them to become physically active. And my kindergarten students know that when they're running, their heart rate elevates, they know when they're resting, and they know where to find their pulse. So those are some basic concepts from K to 6 that we do. The next point, we fitness test 2 times per year. At the elementary level, we just don't see our students that much. 2 times per cycle in most 4th, 5th, and 6th grades. So we do a pre-test where the students take the test in the fall, and then we'll take a goal setting, we'll do some goal setting, and then take a post-test. Once we get the pre-test, the goal setting is then introduced, and they understand that goal setting helps to keep them focused and on task so that they can improve their fitness and stay motivated. During the goal setting process, students work individually with me. I'll set up laptops. I have 4 laptops, and while the students are actively involved in a game, I will call up 4 students at a time, and they'll come in, they'll look at their pre-tests, and we'll be looking at a report in just a minute. And then the students will put in their own goals, and then I will conference with each of them. So it takes us about a class and a half, but they're actually seeing their own data. And I think we're at that point. Okay, so this is actually Tyler's report. And on the report, you'll see some graphs that will indicate their BMI, their pacer, the V-sit, curl-ups and pull-ups. And here's what's important for the students to start understanding at a young age is what it looks like. So the pre-test, he did 85, he did a V-sit of -4, 15.2. So when the student looks at their own scores, then we talk about, we do a mini lesson on goal setting, and then they'll go ahead and plug this in, so it goes right into the computer, we save the data. And what's really neat is that there's another portion on this where we can actually write a sentence, a fitness plan, and a SMART goal. So I start to introduce all of that with my 4th, 5th, and 6th graders.
Can I jump in?
And
real quick,
that's,
please?
yeah.
Also on this report, you can see they have all the history in there. So
Yeah.
a student in high school will actually, in their report, will have, eventually down the road, will have 7, 8 years of history in terms of their scores.
And so then once we do that, Tyler's going to share how goal setting helped motivate him in his own fitness journey. So you want to come up? He's one of my motivated students that works hard, so.
The Welnet program has made me work harder with staying active and being physically in shape. This means working harder so I can achieve goals that I've set on the Welnet website. The goal setting I have also noticed help my peers get more physically active as well. There are certain activities that I need to work on harder than the rest of them. As example, stretching or V-sit reach. Welnet has made me work harder to try to achieve my goal in this particular area.
Thank you, Tyler. And like Tyler has learned through this process that flexibility is an area he's a soccer player, so he knows that that's a tough area, as Len noted. But it's easy to practice, so we integrate. Currently, we're doing station work right now, and we integrate each of the tests. That's where we put all the activities into it to learn. And then once we do this, they can revisit their goals throughout the year, and we're just getting ready now in the next week or 2 to post-test. And then I have them do in-class sheets where they can visually, because we just can't have access to laptops all the time in the gym, and we don't want balls thrown at them or whatever. So they have their own paper copy too, so they can visually see. And that helps motivate and encourage each other. And then the last thing is we revisit them, and then what Brett jumped in and said, access to students' previous history. Parents and students are able to log on to the Welnet at any time since it's web-based, and they can check, he's got 4th grade and 5th grade on his report now. So Tyler's mom here, she can verify he gets on it. They can check it anywhere to see. And so I think it's a great program at the elementary to teach the important health and wellness concepts. And then it moves right into what they do at the middle school. So Mrs. Pennywell will.
We are very fortunate at the middle school in that we have health and phys ed every day. So when I see them, I'll see them for phys ed, for example, on day 135, and I see them for health on day 246, that same period. So we get to know each other really well. And what I like about this program is, as was mentioned, we incorporate it then into our health classes. And that's really neat because it carries over. And then what they learn in health, they take back to the gym, and it just works very well together. So again, we do assess in all 5 areas, and we do a pre, mid, and a post test. And I plug in their scores, and then during health class, they pull up their scores, and they look at their history, and they look at where they are now, and are they improving? Did they backslide? You know, where do they need help, and so on. And then in addition to that, during health class, we talk about what the key elements of fitness are: strength, flexibility, and endurance. And again, we reinforced what they were introduced to at the elementary level. Also in our health classes then, they actually write a fitness program, and it incorporates all the FITT principles. How long should they be active? What type of activities should they be doing? And how do they do that safely so they are benefiting themselves in whatever area of need they feel needs improvement. In addition to that, something I added this year that worked very well, and I'm going to continue to expand it in different health classes as well, is they created their fitness stations. So in our phys ed class, we do play some games to reinforce the importance of endurance and what their activity level is, but we also have fitness stations to improve these skills and help them reach the goals that they set. So this year what I did is we pulled up a summary of all the 7th grade scores. And then the students had to analyze that data, and they had to come up with, as a class, where are we lacking? Where are our strengths? And then we talked about them. And then through various websites, and I have an app on my phone, they created stations to help their peers get better. And it was good because they took ownership to what they were doing. Their stations were posted in the gym, and they rotated around. It was like, hey, that's mine, you know, so it made them just be more into it. So very quickly, I just brought some things to show you what they look like. This one is flexibility and strength. This one again is strength. This one is for cardio with jump roping, and each one the students had to have a modification with it, so we differentiated. So that way, if some students can't jump rope really well, so they could still be very involved in the class, because then they could choose jogging. Or if you can't do a push-up, then they did a plank. So they had to come up with different levels, and that made some good dialogue in the health room, and then they demonstrated that, and then they actually implemented it into the classroom. So that was a good way to reinforce the importance of fitness, find ways that they feel will help them and things that they enjoy to keep the excitement and the energy level up that I know they have at the elementary. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about what this looks like at the high school. Just with the elementary and middle school, we do our 5 tests. We do 3 times per semester. We have semester-long courses. We have 90-day courses. So we do a pre-test, we do a mid-test at the end of the first marking period, and then we do a post-test at the end of the semester. What this has really forced us to do is rewrite curriculum. So we're in the process of rewriting all our curriculum. We've rewritten a number of courses. We've restructured the courses that are available and what the progression is for courses that they take. Because the idea with the program is that fitness is not a unit, or fitness is not just a test you do one time. This is the focus of what we're doing in our classes. So it really forced us to take a look at what we were teaching and how we wanted to revamp the program a little bit. When I was in school, we used to do the presidential fitness test. And it was 1 week, you took these tests, and that was it. That was your fitness. So, you know, this should be our focus. This is what our focus is. So it's not just what are your fitness scores, it's what are your fitness scores, where do you want to go, and let's get to where we need to be. So that's why our courses have been written. So what we've changed with our program is we now have what we call Introduction to Fitness 1, and Personal Sport 1, and Introduction to Fitness and Personal Sport 2. And these are mandatory courses for everyone to take. And we put sport in there because it's still part of our program. We're not getting rid of basketball, we're not getting rid of soccer or football, whatever it is. It's just when we do those activities, the focus is on fitness. So we might play soccer wearing heart rate monitors and talk about different heart rate levels and how many minutes you need to have your heart rate between these 2 numbers, and why, and what that means, and what the benefits you're going to receive from that activity. So in our first 2 courses, we go through all the fitness concepts. We kind of carry on what we did in middle school in terms of program development, and then by the end of the second course, they've created a comprehensive fitness plan for their future. that's where we go from there. And then we have electives that are available after that point. So we have our yoga classes, we have our weight training classes, we have a competitive sports and games class, and next year, for the first time, we're offering a introduction to exercise science class, which is going to be a full year, 1 credit course. And that's geared towards students that are interested in health promotion, fitness, and that field. So it's open to juniors and seniors. You want to be a personal trainer, physical therapist, physical education teacher, God forbid, whatever they want to do in that area. So, I skipped somebody. So that's kind of the way the course is driven. Yes.
So are you saying for the electives that this is not incorporated into the electives, or
It
is
is.
still?
It is. So we still,
that's
even though a
good.
weight training class is going to be more geared towards strength and muscular endurance, we still do all the tests.
Good.
And for instance, when I teach a weight training class, I still make them incorporate cardiorespiratory training into their program because it's important. So.
And for yoga and all of that?
Yep. With yoga 1 and 2, we do that, and weight training 1 and 2. All of our classes now go through these tests.
I had one other question. Also a comment. I just think it's excellent. I'm really impressed with it. Maybe you said this at the beginning, so I apologize. Where did Welnet originate? That phrase, that concept?
Welnet's a program that was created by a company called Focus Fitness. There's other programs out there. FitnessGram is the big one that you hear most about.
Okay.
I've had experience with Welnet personally, and I've had experience with FitnessGram as well. Personally, I like this program because of some of the features we mentioned with online access for parents and students.
Yes.
But there's also a lot of other features that we're starting to introduce where you can do cognitive exams, cognitive tests online for students. So if you're teaching about the FIT principle of overload, you can actually do a pre-assessment and a post-assessment. And it gives us a little bit more in terms of concrete assessments in physical education. So it's not, are you active, are you not active? We have a little bit more that we can assess students on, and it makes our program a little more valid, I would say.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And also to add to that, with Welnet, there's lots of different modules, but there's activity logs. You can have students complete activity logs, nutrition logs. They offer online programs for schools that offer online physical education. There's a lot of benefits to the program as well. I miss Savannah. This is Savannah, and she's going to talk to us about her experience. Savannah's the secondary representative. That's why she's going after me. So she's going to talk about the secondary program, which she's experienced.
I think Welnet's really important for gym class because when we do the testing in the beginning, you can see your scores, how you did well or not so well. And then when we take ours in the second or like in the middle and then at the end, you can see if you improved a lot, if you didn't in some places, and how like you can really improve on that. It gives you like, it motivates you to keep going, and like if you reach your goals, that's a good thing, and you push yourself more for your last test, or if you did really good and you just want to stay that same and not go down, but you also want to improve still. It like kind of pushes you to keep working, and like you almost feel good about yourself if you do improve, because you're like, yeah, I met my goal. But it's really important because then like if I want to see my scores, I can just go on and look at them and see while we're working in gym class, like what I need to improve on, what I need to like keep looking at. Yeah. That's all I got.
That's good. That works.
Thank you.
One last thing I just want to throw out here is, we've worked very diligently with the physical education department as to, how can we incorporate data within. So Welnet, or it's calling utilizing data to transform physical education K-12, has been received by Shippensburg Student Study Council for a presentation which will be in April. And then I just finished a nomination form for the Pennsylvania School Board Association for the fall as to how we're utilizing data, not only to impact the students' learning, which it truly is, but also for their physical fitness. So in order to keep track of our time, since we do have 1 minute, do we have any other questions or comments? Mr. Schnabel?
Yes, Mr. Reppert. I have, Mr. Reppert's my son-in-law, okay, so that, so we're just bantering back. But a serious question is, for adults, is there a program like this where it could be given in the adult education part of the high school program?
Adult education, as in like the enrichment programs? they
Yes,
offer?
something like, the wellness and things like that.
I know Welnet does not offer a program for adults, but I'd have to do some research, but I'm sure there are programs out there very similar to this.
Because if the data holds true for the youth, it would hold true for the adults too that
Yep.
would take part in it.
Absolutely.
Maybe something like that,
Yep.
you know.
And that's an essential part of any wellness program or health promotion program is that goal setting and whatnot.
Yeah.
And if you go to a personal trainer, the first thing they're going to do is a series of assessments, and then you create it's the exact same thing you would see going to a personal trainer.
Any other final questions, comments?
I just want to thank the students and the teachers. It's always very helpful to really hear from the students and the teachers, and it just gives us more of a direct insight. So I think it's wonderful, and I'm really glad that you're nominating it for PSBA. That would be great. So thank you.
We thank everyone for coming over here. Big thanks again to Tyler, Savannah, Kristen, Darla, and Brett.